Okay, so we are now live, and I am going to take a second to actually get the links up for this stream, which as of early this morning, I actually didn't have any. Actually, I had a couple links that I was going to cover, but in the last couple hours, I've been looking around for some stories, and excuse me. Yeah, as always, there's a lot going on, and just about none of it's good. Oh, God. The world we live in. The world we live in. It is just something else. It really is. Just, I don't even know if anything in this stream is going to even be new. Like, a lot of this is just going to be covering, topics that we've talked about in the past. But it really is a ridiculous thing that so much ridiculousness just continues to occur. And I'm going to post this on fucking Gab that I'm streaming, because a whole bunch of people just followed me there, and I think it's because people are giving up on Twitter. And shout out to Harmful Opinions, who was just banned on Twitter for seemingly no reason at all. I'm not even sure why, of all people, it was him that was banned. Sargon, you can say, makes sense for why they banned him, but I mean, Harmful is not that big, and he's really not that controversial. I know that him and I share like a very macabre comedic appeal, but outside of that, like, he doesn't post really any, things that I would say are necessarily outrageous. But shout out to him for getting banned on Twitter. And so for today, we're going to be talking about a few different things. Oh, shut the fuck up, Gab. God damn it. I hate that fucking croaking shit. That was the Gab thing saying that I got people liking my shit or whatever. So yeah, give me a second here to get these links up, and we will get right into it. I am going to try to promise you up front that I am not going to start screaming. That is going to be the promise, that I'm not going to try to not start screaming. Because there are, I want to say, two stories here that I'm going to be covering, which enter into the territory of something that I would start screaming about because of, one, the way that they're covered, and also what's being said, what the actual event is, what's going on. That, to those of you, and I've had a couple of people tweet at me to say that I'm exaggerating, what the issue is, or that I'm some kind of apologist for Nazis. And it's like, you fundamentally don't understand the situation. Take it back, let's say, 100 years, okay? And you and I are both in rural Mississippi or Kentucky, somewhere rural. And I say to you, oh, boy, this boy right here is a nigger lover. Did you hear that? This boy looking after that coon poontang boy. This guy's a fucking nigger lover. That's what you're doing today. That's what you're doing today. And you're saying that it's wrong of me to take offense to that. No, that's exactly what you're doing today. Nazi is just a slur. That's all it is. You want to try to apply it to blacks and that, but you just then call them, and I don't really know who this person is that was tweeting at me, but it's like, it comes from the same mindset of whites that call black conservatives coons or Uncle Toms and all that kind of shit. And you calling anyone who is not a progressive a Nazi is just you engaging in defamation. It's just you trying to slur. And I got some cocksucker neighbor of mine lighting off fireworks. Might have to shut my window, although I don't want to because it's fucking hot. I might have to shut my fucking window. I'm not really sure if you guys can hear those fireworks, but I don't want that to become a distraction. So let me continue on. Okay. Just trying to get the links up. Yeah, okay, that'd be a quick one to start with. I love the articles where they got videos on them that automatically start playing. Those are the best kind of articles. Actually, I'm gonna have to do that again because I'm gonna have to open them up. Okay. Almost done. Usually I get this done beforehand, but I went for a jog, came back, ate, and I wish I would have ate a little bit sooner because it's not good to eat and record something because if you aren't aware, you develop a lot of phlegm, especially when you have a hearty meal, and people don't want to hear you, fucking gargling up fucking phlegm when you're trying to actually host some sort of thing where you're trying to listen to somebody. I have to say that I've unsubscribed from people in the past because of the noises that they make. And maybe that's a characteristic of me being neurotic, but it's just something that fucking irritates me. It grades against me when it's like every video I'm listening to where you are clearing your throat, you're coughing, you're gargling phlegm. Like, I just can't take it. And so, if you are a, someone considering doing YouTube or whatever else, hosting a podcast, just make sure that, God damn it, make sure that you're not fucking gargling phlegm, or I'm not going to watch your shit. And other people who are neurotic like me are not going to either. I'm not really sure how many people that actually applies to, but I'm at least saying it. Okay, so I think I got everything here. And, man, there's some, that Joss Whedon thing, we're going to get into it, but that Joss Whedon thing apparently is breaking news because it's now trending on Twitter. And oh my God, man. It's another fucking male feminist. That's all I can say. Like, people getting all mad at me, like, oh, Louis, during that whole thing where that fucking Russian Deadpool guy killed his girlfriend, you were wrong and all that shit. It's like, no, I was right. I was absolutely right. I'm doubling down. I'm tripling down. I'm quadrupling down. I was right when I made those jokes because male feminists are a fucking joke and they are dangerous. They are dangerous. People can say whatever jokes that they want to say. No, if you are a male feminist or dealing with a male feminist, you are dealing with someone that is disproportionately likely to be some kind of fucking liar, fucking rapist, lunatic criminal. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to generalize and be a bigot, but it seems to me that just based on the fucking events as we've seen them play out, that's just the fucking facts as they are. I'm not really sure what you want me to do about the facts as they appear to be, but that's how they are. So I'm missing one link. And actually, am I? Yes, I am. Okay, so this should be the last link, and it's going to play that fucking video again. God fucking damn. Okay, let me get that up on this. Can I mute this? Is it going to let me mute this before? Okay, it's going to play a fucking ad. God damn it. All right, so here we go. Okay, this is Louis, and this is going to be another stream, and we're going to be talking about, I got 7 links, and then we will do, I'll open it up to the chat where you guys can feel free to ask me any questions. Be sure to follow, my links. Be sure to support me on Patreon. I've had a whole bunch of people come back to Patreon after the whole Lauren Southern thing. I think that was a little bit overblown. People are thankfully coming back and saying, like, okay, maybe we pulled the trigger a little bit too early on Patreon, although the arguments are obviously there for what the problems are. But, yep, I'm just hoping that people can keep supporting me there and we can keep going and I can keep trying to make content that you guys enjoy and all that good shit. See what I mean? Not good. I got myself a orange juice and vodka. Oh, the pretty heavy dosage of vodka. I've been drinking a lot of that recently. A decent amount of orange juice and vodka. I've acquired a taste for it ever since I went to a wedding of my good friend's brother. Bartender there Wasn't very good. But I was like, you know, give me a orange juice and vodka, and that was actually pretty good. And ever since I've acquired a taste for it. And as far as I know, it's not as fatty as fucking beer, which I also had with my dinner. So hopefully I don't get too intoxicated with this fucking stream here, because already I've had a bit of liquor. Anyways, so let's get right into it. Let me share my screen. Boom. So the first thing we have to get to is the sad story. I just shared a video, and it's actually very coincidental that I did this before with Chuck Berry. I was sharing Chuck Berry songs and praising Chuck Berry, and then like 3 days later he died. And I just did the same thing with Jerry Lewis the other day, and then he died also. Very coincidental. It's too bad. Jerry Lewis, if you aren't aware of who he is, I mean, he does deserve the title of a legendary comedian. He is definitely a legendary comedian. Most, I would say, of the modern comedians, good or bad, they owe something in terms of the influence that they derived from Jerry Lewis. Many writers owe a lot to Jerry Lewis. For those of you that are 90s kids and can remember Animaniacs, they constantly made references to Jerry Lewis. There are many different shows that made reference to Jerry Lewis and his comedy style. Rest in peace, Jerry Lewis. Very sad passing of a legendary comedian who rightly earned that title. And they actually make reference to him and Dean Martin, another legend in his own right. So yeah, it's too bad. And so I wanted to give, I wanted to give Jerry Lewis a shout out now that he's dead. Not that that really makes much sense, but yes, rest in peace, Jerry Lewis. And maybe in the future I will, do myself the service of watching some of his older skits and movies and all that, and acts, and try to glean some of his writing knowledge and use it in my own bit here on YouTube, because Jerry Lewis really is he is, like, I don't really need to linger on the words, but he is a legend in terms of comedy. There's a lot of comedians that were influenced by him. So I think it's worth pointing to, as it was with Chuck Berry when he died, because there were a lot of fucking musicians that based their work on him. So yes, rest in peace, Jerry Lewis. Moving on, we're going to Mass Effect Andromeda with some good news, with an update from BioWare on Mass Effect Andromeda. So let's see what they have to say about this game. And it appears to be that, to summarize this article, this short few paragraph article, Lewis was right. I think that that's what we can glean from this article. That's the takeaway, that Lewis was right, that this game was a disaster, and now they are they're just, just go, we're done. What's the move with the dealers at casinos, where they do that, they clap their hands and then they wave and then they walk away from the fucking table? That's what you're seeing here with BioWare. It's just like, thank you, we're done. So this is just another funny story of me being right, and that this game was a fucking disaster and is not going to be supported by BioWare at all. And it's just amazing to me that people, like even Eric Kane, was like, oh, well, even EA defended it in their shareholder call. And it's like, yeah, idiot, why do you think they tried to defend this? Okay, they opened a studio for this game and then had to abruptly fucking consolidate it. Why do you think they're trying to spin this game? Come on. God, I've already talked about it enough, but it's like when you are someone in human resources and you make a bad hire, you have to cover for that, because if you don't, you look like the asshole. That's what this is. Anyways, that was a short story, but I just thought it was funny. So I've seen a shitload of advertisements for a movie called Patty Cakes with a $sign for an S. And what it is I think, I'm not sure if it's based on a real story or if it's just a total fictional story, but it's about a fat white female rapper. And when I watched the trailer for it, and I had to just because it played on a whole host of different articles and videos, it was everywhere for like a month. I watched the trailer for it, and I asked myself, like, who's actually interested in this? Who is this movie for? Who actually gives a shit about watching a movie that's not a comedy, that's like a serious movie about a fat white woman trying to be a rapper? Because I can tell you that for most white people, man or woman, middle class, upper class, lower class, no one's going to fucking watch this. You know, I can't speak to being somebody from the hood who's white. That's not me. But I can tell you from someone from my background that anyone who's from a blue-collar working-class family, anyone who's from a lower middle-class family of like a working-class suburb, anyone who's middle class is not going to fucking watch this. Who is going to watch this fucking movie? So the demographic that one would, I guess, assume would be the audience to this would be black people, black men and women. But the issue is that from the taste that I've gleaned from friends that are black in terms of our tastes, if any difference there, because I don't really think that taste is defined by skin color, because I used to listen, and still do to some degree, listen to old school rap. I've had discussions with friends of mine that happen to be black that are also into old school hip hop that don't like modern rap. They like old school hip hop, and that's one of the things that we talk about, because I started listening to a whole hell of a lot of it after I got satellite radio, where I spend hours at a time listening to it, and we could discuss the albums. And this is the kind of thing where I ask myself, okay, do any of the friends that that are in Buffalo, from Buffalo, are from the inner city, would they watch this fucking movie? Does this appeal to friends of mine that are black from the suburbs? No. Does this appeal to black friends of mine that are in the city? No, none that I know of. So it begs the question. Yes, this is anecdotal from my experience and the friends that I have, but who is this movie for? Who is going to watch this fucking movie? And I list this New York Times article as a reference because all this article talks about is how fat white women can't get roles. And there's an example of the one chick from Precious, which was a big fucking, whatever it is, Oscar bait movie from a few years ago. And, you know, I have nothing against fat actors. One of my favorite actors from when I was young, even though he died, actually, am I going to really blank on his fucking name? He was from Saturday Night Live and is famous. I was about to say Jim Belushi. That's not right. Chris Farley. Chris Farley, when I was young, was one of my favorite comedic actors. And he was fat. And so when people say that, you know, fat actors can't get work, that's not true. Fat actors can get work. And let me look up the series. And it's not an ageist thing either. Like, people want to say that it's about age as well, but it's not true. People of all kinds can get roles in films. And I just want to look up what the name of the voice actor is from the Boondocks who played... Hang on, let me see here. Okay. And he's a super progressive, this guy, which is a bit annoying. Edward Asner. Edward Asner. I don't know if you've seen him. He's very old. He's very overweight. He has a very gravelly voice. I like Ed Asner. I don't like his politics necessarily because he's super progressive. But I think that as an actor, he works. I've seen him in a number of different shows, and if you've ever watched the Boondocks, the animated show, he was Onceler, Ed Onceler Sr. I think he's a terrific actor. I think that he works very well in the role that he can play. As a, it's very ironic because he's like an uber leftist, but he can play a very stern, uber capitalist bad guy, like the CEO bad guy. He could do it very well, and he's apparently won a lot of awards. That, in my opinion, is somebody that you can play in a role, even though he's fat. You know, it's just about what kind of role he can play, what kind of role he's adept to. And it's not anything against him. It's not any against the fact that he's overweight or that he's old or what his politics are. It's just the fact that he has a role that he can play. He has a niche that he can play. Now, with women, I'm willing to concede that the value of a female actor does go down as time goes on. As a female actress gets older, they lose value as the role that they have on screen. Is that fair? No. But that's just the taste of consumers. Does that mean that there's no older female that can ever have a role in a film? Obviously not. Obviously, there are plenty of older women in television, in movies, in games, and everything, okay? That's completely fine. It exists. It's just that you have to accept the fact that you're going to have a tighter niche for the role that you can play. Same goes with men as well. And I think that that's one of the things that that Hollywood's trying to get around, is that you have all these older action stars that they're trying to fit into roles that they don't fit. I don't remember the name of the film, but there was a film that I watched with Harrison Ford where he was supposed to be a father, and he was far older than what is acceptable to see on screen, with like a daughter who's I think it was in her 20s or something like that. He was far too old to be in that role. And it was an action film, and it didn't work. It didn't work for that reason. And so that's what I see here. You know, you can paint this up as discrimination towards fucking land whales, but what this is the fact that you have women that do not fit a role. You can have fat women play comic relief in movies, but as we've seen in this photo here, okay, with Melissa McCarthy in a movie called Spy, which is apparently supposed to be, I don't know, I've never even heard of it. But, I mean, you need to find me somebody who takes this seriously. I can't take this seriously. Like an overweight, fat white woman see this guy laying on the ground? She's not going to overpower him. A fat white woman is not going to be a spy. So, and the thing is, too, is like, even if she weren't fat, and I have the same kind of nose. I have the same kind of, like, fat nose because I'm Irish. I suffer from the same unfortunate appearance. But the fact is that she's not even pretty. Okay, they can doll her up to the best of their ability. She is not good looking. She is not in good shape. She is not she does not have the physique. She has like multiple fucking blouses on to hide her fucking gut. Okay? This is not the film that anyone could take in any way seriously, even if it is a comedy. It's fucking like the movie with Eddie Murphy. That was a spy movie. I think that movie was just Spy or something else. Or maybe it was I Spy. I can't even remember. It was a comedy, but at least there I can take the people in that movie somewhat seriously to engage in the action. But this to me is so fucking ridiculous that no one, like, it's just, who can watch this? Who can watch this and be even entertained by it? You know, like, I just don't get it. And so I understand that I'm kind of falling all over myself to sort of emphasize what the issue is here. But, you know, this is the typical kind of bullshit that we see from progressives trying to insert their ideology into capitalism, and they're angry at the fact that it isn't working. They're angry at the fact that the free market doesn't like to see fat white women in roles. we don't want to see fucking land whales. No one's attracted to that. It doesn't mean that there aren't roles for fat women in movies. It just means that in terms of being a leading lady, in terms of having the role of a protagonist, you are very limited in terms of believability because no one is attracted to see you. Okay, if I see Tom Cruise in an action movie, it doesn't mean that the movie's by itself going to work, but at least you have a protagonist that you can see in an action movie that could work. It's a good example of oh, I shouldn't reference people when I don't have it. Fucking Daniel Craig. I don't even have to look it up. Daniel Craig as Bond. I don't like Daniel Craig as Bond. Okay, that's not the issue with the movie. It's not the issue necessarily with the writing, although it is in part. But I don't like Daniel Craig as Bond. And that isn't me being a fucking anti-white bigot. It's not saying that I hate men. It's not saying anything. It's just I don't think this actor fits this role. They're a protagonist when they're too stiff. They're not charismatic enough. They don't have the on-screen presence outside of being masculine and strong that works for to being an action hero star. But this is a Bond movie. It's not just another action movie. So when Daniel Craig and he just signed on for the next Bond film, I'm not happy with that because it's like, Christ, obviously you can find somebody worse than this, but this guy isn't working. So that's what this is. And they can peddle this however they want to. That's the problem. They're writing bad movies and trying to squeeze in fat women that don't fit the fucking model for the character they're trying to create. If you want to do a movie about fucking Biggie Smalls or somebody else, fucking Ice-T, Ice Cube, whomever, where you basically show their life to where they were, to where they became super successful, then it's like, okay, I can understand the appeal of that movie. I can understand the appeal of watching Ice Cube go from a fucking nobody to a millionaire. That's interesting to watch because it's based on a real person that had a real struggle that became really, really successful. And it's a very in the whole breakup and the beefing of niggas with attitude, that whole thing. It really is kind of a fucking stupid thing if you look back at it. But in the 90s and all that, it was a big deal. And it's interesting to know the history of. So there's a draw there. Like you want to, okay, I want to hear about NWA. I want to hear about Ice Cube. I want to hear about his, presence in that group and his history in California and, the breakup of the group and his beefing with other guys and all the other shit. Like, it can be interesting. There's a demand for that movie. But for fat fucking, land whales, there's no demand. There's no interest here. To me, this is just virtue signaling bullshit. And, yeah, no offense to whoever the fuck this fat cunt is, Danielle McDonald. No offense to her. Maybe she's a really nice person. Maybe she is a terrific actress. I doubt it. But I highly doubt that this movie is worth a shit. I really do doubt it. And I think it's because that they're trying to fit her into a movie where she doesn't fit. And the movie itself is trying to cater to that. And it won't work because of it. You write a movie by itself to make it a good movie. You don't write a movie to cater to an ideology. Every time you do that, you get shit. And that's a fact. Find me an example where that's not true. So this is an article, Fuck the Fucking Pop-Ups, from Breitbart. Steve Bannon left the White House. And I got to say that this is just another instance where I find something casually thrown out by the left that I personally find offensive. I genuinely don't like the fact that they're playing fast and loose with Jew jokes while screaming about Nazis. I mean, this guy gets, either he left or was fired. I'm not even sure. It's kind of a confusion as to what exactly happened. But he left the White House, and this was something that he signed, apparently, his letter of resignation like 2 weeks or so ago, and then left. And this was almost universally celebrated on the left. There were only a few people Michael Tracy, Julian Assange. Like, there was a handful of people that actually looked at this that said that this generally is not a good thing, because what you're doing is you're taking out one of the very, very few non-interventionist people from Trump's cabinet. You're taking out the chief strategist who is against frivolous wars, who is more in favor of populist politics, more in favor of economic protectionism, and you're taking this guy out of the White House. And it's going to leave a void for all of that. I've seen people asking, is there anyone else that's part of Trump's administration that is not a full-blown fucking globalist, fucking neoliberal, pro-war profiteering cocksucker? You know, is there anyone that's part of Trump's administration that's not the complete antithesis of Steve Bannon with all of his faults? And he does have some. No, the answer is no, as far as I can tell. And I saw people celebrating this all over the left, including with this frankly, you know, I don't even want to get into it, but it strikes me as anti-Semitic. This, because you say that this guy's a Nazi, you say he's a white supremacist, you slander him and slander him and slander him, and then as he is leaving the White House, you make a fucking Jew joke at his expense because he's a Jew. So, you know, in my opinion, that's where you're in the know. You know the fact that he's not an anti-Semite. You know the fact that he's not a Nazi. You know that he is a Jew, and yet you're going to slander him anyways, and it's probably because you yourself harbor some kind of anti-Semitism. People can say that that's a stretch, maybe, but I don't think it is. This fits the mold of what I've seen in the past. There is a real presence of anti-Semitism on the left, and I don't like this. I don't like fucking Jew jokes, especially when you're running around calling everyone a Nazi, calling everyone a white supremacist, calling everyone everything. And yet at the same time, and you're hiding behind the ADL, and yet at the same time you're making fucking Jew jokes at the expense of Jews. I don't like it. I don't fucking like it. So, yes, besides my offense to that, and, you know, I saw Jimmy Dore celebrating this in a whole slew. It wasn't just Jimmy, but a whole slew of people. And it's like, okay, you now have to choose what your priorities are, okay? What are your priorities? Are your priorities domestic infrastructure spending, reining in fucking corporatism, trying to strengthen protectionist policies, trying to fight for workers, trying to fight for populist fucking economics, trying to fight against war profiteering, the military-industrial complex, frivolous wars, unwinnable wars, you know, the spread of corporatism in the world. If you are in globalism, you know, if you, and obviously progressives disagree with this, but if you don't want to see Muslims flowing into this country unabated, you just lost an ally in the White House. Steve Bannon, as far as I can tell, was one of the strongest people on the issue of Muslims, and now he's gone. So it's not a good thing. Like, this is not a good thing. You can disagree with this guy, and I'm sure that if him and I sat in a room, we would disagree on a whole host of things. And I have seen things by him where I don't agree, such as his propping up in part of the alt-right. I've seen people basically saying that about him, and that does appear to be somewhat true, that Steve Bannon played a little bit too fast and loose with the alt-right and tried to obfuscate a bit with who they actually are and what they actually believe. I don't think that that was right of him to do, and I think that he should take a page out of the book of others and just denounce them more than he already has. And this is not me trying to undermine him. This is just me saying that he should distance himself from the alt-right, as others have done, and I think it will help him in the future. I think it would help him to make it overtly clear that he is not on the side. And I have read that article where he mocked them, but it's not good enough to mock them. I think that he needs to distance himself from the alt-right and try to rally allies around him to then fight against Antifa and the fucking Islamists and everyone else that poses a threat to the United States. You know, if he wants to consider himself to be a populist, he has to do what's right. And I think that's part of it. I saw a lot of scathing criticism from Ben Shapiro. Some fair, some not fair, especially against Milo. I thought he was a bit unfair towards Milo, but I don't think that he's wrong against what he said against Steve Bannon. I think that with Ben Shapiro, he's a bit clouded by his disagreements politically with Steve Bannon in terms of the difference that they have in terms of, like, especially in economics, it appears. But I think that it's, you know, at least a genuine concern that the guy should make it overtly clear that, you know, like we should be having, or the right should be having rather, free speech rallies, and should be opposed to alt-right assholes, and to keep them out of rallies that would contain conservatives, libertarians, constitutionalists, and alt-lights. I think that that should be the alliance on the right. And I can agree with some of those people, and we can agree on certain politics, and I think that they can be a far more appealing to a general audience. I don't think that they're going to be winning any allies with the alt-right, because the alt-right are a fucking toxic community. They are, if you criticize them in any capacity, they will come after you. That appears to be the case with fucking everybody. I mean, you had Baked Alaska go on a stream with Sargon, and Sargon immediately following that started getting shit. Just for having the guy on a stream where the guy didn't do well. And the alt-right went after him. And that's the thing. Like, they're just impossible to engage with. They just constantly do ridiculous shit. So I don't see any of that coming from alt-lights. I don't see any of that coming from libertarians even though I don't really take libertarians seriously. They don't do any of that shit. So, in my opinion, the alt-right should be cut loose. I think that they need to be done away with in terms of any kind of, you know, I'm not even sure how to phrase it. Like, because I'm trying to say this in terms of people on the right, that you're not getting anything with them. They're just standing in the way, because they are a toxic community. They really are. That fucking Charlottesville rally was a clusterfuck, and I still want to do a video on that. I really do. But it's like, you know, when you start showing up there with the whole tiki torches thing, the fucking Nazi flags, the you know, the Confederate flags are a bit different, but you had Klansmen there, and you had people doing the Seg Heil shit, and it's like, then people naturally go, oh wow, those guys are Nazis. Look at them doing the Seg Heil and shit. It's like, yeah, like I don't even know anymore. Like, you could be there trying to meme shit up, but it's like, no, you look like Nazis. Everyone in the media is calling you a Nazi. You're out there doing Seg Heil and shit, and then you wonder why people hate you. You know, I really do think that when it comes to the right in the United States, that the alt-right needs to be cut loose, and that they need to be done with. That needs to be it. They go off and do fucking whatever, but they need to be just done away with and let go and forgotten, because they're, even if you want to be generous towards them, they're fucking stupid. They're fucking stupid. They constantly do fucking stupid mistakes that make them a PR nightmare. And they're nothing more than a gift for the fucking lying media that want to call them Nazis and call anyone associated with them a Nazis. So, like, it's ridiculous to me. But yeah, let's just move on. Oh, actually, before we get to the Joss Whedon story, I'm going to post this in the chat, or yeah, I'll post this in the chat right now. And I urge all of you to sign this petition that's now headed towards the White House. This has gone pretty fucking viral, and I encourage everyone to just take a second to sign it. You know, I know people are saying like, "Oh no, you know, this is going to be a waste of my time." Blah blah blah. No, we're edging on 100,000, and that's a big number. So go sign it right now. Go do it. I don't work for the Rebel Media, so don't worry about it. But just be sure to sign this, get it done. Don't make excuses. I'll keep the link in the description after the stream. Do sign this. It's important. This is something that can really change the whole model of what's going on, because if we have state and the federal governments signing off on this and basically having to confront whether Antifa is a terrorist organization or not. My conclusion is that if the federal government rules it to be a terrorist organization, or at least addresses it, you will see it a lot harder to defend Antifa in the press, even though that's what they're doing right now. And Sargon just covered it, and I've seen other people cover it too, from that CNN fucking piece, although it's not the only one. They were, I mean, it wasn't exactly a glowing, like they didn't endorse it as a corporation, but it was a fluff piece. It was a fluff piece for Antifa. And unless you want to see that kind of shit spread and have that become kind of a thing that becomes more accustomed with the normies, that, oh, maybe Antifa are in the right. This is important. I really think that people that want to dismiss this are, they're really just passing on like a very, something that you can defend in multiple ways, but is also a very big moral concern. You don't normally hear me frame it in this way, but I'm going to frame it in this way. This is a moral concern. And I think that you should sign this, because we need to try to prevent widespread political violence. It is extremely important that that occurs. It doesn't matter which side you're on. It's extremely important that groups like Antifa are minimized as much as possible. And it's going to be a lot easier that people, and I know there's a lot of people, and I sympathize with this, people that want to see the police come in and crack the skulls of these fuckers. Guess what? If you have the government, state, local, federal, recognizing Antifa as a terrorist organization, if you have them recognizing that, it gives police the green light to crack down on them. They won't even have to fucking equivocate. When the press show up and stick a microphone in front of their face, they just say, they're a terrorist organization. We're cleaning up terrorists off the streets. Boom. No one will even question it further than that. So this is important. This is extremely important. So I will link it below. I will link it again right now in the chat. I encourage everyone listening to this to go sign this petition, because again, we're just a couple thousand away from 100,000. It's important. So if you're listening to this, go do that right now. Go sign it. It's extremely important. And again, if you want to see Antifa crack down on, if you want to watch videos of police coming out, beating like fucking Rodney King, was it Rodney King? Yeah, Rodney King style, fucking just pummeling him. Pummeling Antifa with fucking batons. If you want to see that, you want to see the aerial footage and them fucking beating them, this is how you get it done. This is how it happens. So go sign it. So now we get to something, I forget, what was the other article that I was going to start screaming about? I don't think it was this one. Maybe I forgot an article. Whoops. But, or oops, as the former governor of Texas said. I forget his name. Yeah, fucking Joss Whedon is a fucking, apparently a serial adulterer, serial fucking exploiter, and philanderer and womanizer and overall piece of shit, even though he has been a self-avowed feminist for half his fucking life. And so what this is apparently an article written by, I think it was his wife. I think. But in any case, it talks about him and his relationship with his now ex-wife, where he apparently cheated on her a whole shitload of times and was in relationships with very young women where it was extremely, quote-unquote, problematic because of the age difference and the power difference. That apparently it was with fans and people that he was the boss of and other shit, like examples like that, where he's basically the boss in a situation fucking like the fucking intern. You know what I mean? Like, that's what apparently he did for 15 years. And this was just an article just to showcase him as just another example of a victimizing fucking piece of shit male feminist. So, yeah, I mean, nothing new here. That's what I mean about nothing being new anymore. That's all the same shit. This is just another fucking screaming at the top of his lungs male feminist who is a genuine piece of shit that cheated on his wife many, many times. And I think it was her that wrote this. I think this is her. I don't know. Yeah, actually it is her. So yeah, Joss Whedon is a piece of shit. And go figure. Oh yeah. Hang on. Someone just brought it up. Joss Whedon. So I just want you to think about this, that Joss Whedon has had interactions with women in the past where the end result was he got close to them and then he fucked them. Okay? That's exactly, according to his wife, and he self-admitted this to her, that he was fucking very young women and was exploiting them for that reason. God damn it, why can't I get the link right? Anyways, we'll just link it here. So we'll just keep that in mind, and then now the question is, what happened here? Maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was nothing, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't, because I don't think it, I put it past Anita Sarkeesian to at least blow him. Oh, and that's all I'll say. I take a quick sip of my fucking vodka orange juice. And we now move on to essentially the article of the stream, and that is an article on the Mary Sue, if you can believe it, on a rant by Dan Harmon. So Dan Harmon is apparently one of the people behind Rick and Morty, rather. I'm not sure to what degree that he is actually like the person that made the show. I'm not even sure. But he went on a speech, and I can't play it because of the way that this is set up. I'd have to go through OBS for you guys to hear it. But he was apparently at some kind of conference in a friendly fucking conference hall. And he had a friendly moderator, and he went on, how long was it? Like a 6-minute rambling speech. And I have to say that in terms of like the crazy shit you've heard as like a direct result of the political violence and people like opining and saying like, oh, there should be violence and punch Nazis and all that kind of thing. This I honestly think was the fucking worst that I've seen. This was the worst, okay? So any of the fucking ridiculous comments that you've seen, like the one guy from the Daily Kos, the guy that founded the Daily Kos, saying all conservatives are Nazis now, this is worse. This is worse than that. The best way that I can describe this rant of his is, well, first meandering, that's for sure. It took him 6 minutes to finally get to his fucking point, which is, in essence, everyone that disagrees with us, quote unquote us, are all Nazis. 30% of the country are Nazis, and they should die. And he doesn't even equivocate on that. He says flat out, they should die. It's really amazing to me. And he puts it in that kind of binary. Like, you are either on our side or you are on their side. And their side are Nazis. And the president's a Nazi, he should die. And anyone that is on the opposite side of me should die. Like, direct call to violence. Direct call to violence. They should die. They need to be put down. I forget the exact line he says in this, where he says, but that they should be killed, they should die. This is the most extreme fucking statement that I've seen from any fucking bourgeois California leftist. The most extreme. And so I have to say that, again, I don't know to what degree he's involved with Rick and Morty, but I am not going to watch their show. I am not going to support anything with this guy's name. If I had more of a following, I would probably try to start some kind of boycott. You know, for him to be honestly fired from Rick and Morty, for him to be fired from any project he's involved on, and to essentially be ostracized. And I say that because the guy is advocating for political violence. He is overtly calling for the murder of thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people. So you have a guy in front of a microphone screaming at, I mean, there's a part in this where he is screaming at the top of his fucking lungs, screaming that these people need to be murdered. I mean, how much worse can it get? If someone is not going to be, like, if somebody's fired because they're right wing, how is this guy in front of a fucking live audience, on tape, on audio, in a microphone, screaming at the top of his lungs that tens of thousands of people need to die? And this guy is not somebody that's going to be boycotted. This is not going to be somebody that's gone after. This is not somebody that's going to be shut down, politically ostracized, all the rest. This is somebody who should be fucking ostracized. This is a fucking lunatic in front of an audience advocating for the genocide of people, fellow citizens in the United States, not because they've done anything wrong, but because they're not on his side. They disagree with him politically, therefore they should all die. I'll probably include a clip when I actually do my video on the left in Charlottesville, but this was the most radical response that I've seen from it. And again, like, I honestly think that this, if anyone is begging to be fucking made an example of, and I mean that in terms of ruined politically, economically, career-wise, in every conceivable way possible, this is the guy. This is the guy that should be gone after. This is the guy that should be ruined. Because this is something that is so reprehensible and indefensible that I really don't think there's any defense of him. I don't think there's any defense of what was said here. And what's amazing about this is that despite him having a friendly audience, a friendly moderator, everyone around him essentially agrees in part with his politics and him, they don't cheer him. There's only a bit of cheering in this. In large part, it's just him screaming and a handful of people clapping. Everyone else is just sitting there kind of stone-faced like, wow, what am I listening to right now? What is going on with this? And it's because this guy is fucking either drunk or completely out of his mind. Either way, this is somebody that should be gone after. Genuinely. You know, it's upsetting to me that so far I haven't really seen any articles on this guy from anybody. I haven't seen any articles on this guy. The best I could find was on the fucking Mary Sue, who guess what, they fucking agree with him. But this is a guy that should be gone after. Okay? Genuinely. I don't have the voice to be able to mobilize anything, but if we're going to go after and target someone, this is the guy. And it's going to be very easy. It's going to be, okay, no, this guy's calling for genocide in America. Fuck him. And his choices are come out and make a groveling fucking apology, which will likely be a lie, or to just get run over. And I think that's what should happen. This guy should get run over. So yeah, unfortunately, that just happens to be the case with this fucking guy. And I don't think that I have any other articles at my disposal. Yeah, I thought that I had one more article that I was going to get really mad at, but apparently I don't. So I will turn this over to you guys in the chat and on Twitter, whatever else, to tell me what you think. You know, do whatever else. Actually, I should probably check the super chats, although I wouldn't really encourage super chats, although, I mean, it benefits me, but I'll probably have to look into the whole super chat situation since it's still, everything's kind of up in the air with YouTube and all their bullshit. Do I like the alt-right? Generally. I don't agree with, you know, everything they, you know, talk about and all that, obviously, but they are definitely more appealing. Seem to be a bit more cognizant. Not everyone either. There are some people on the alt-right that I don't like, but I don't really need to like shit talk people that are way bigger than me unnecessarily. Need to find the link for the super chat. Hang on here. This isn't right. I know there's a link for it. Where the fuck is it? Oh, here we go. Found it. All right, I got it now. So let's see here. We got... Did you hear, Louis? We're in a country full of Nazis and now in a civil war. I messaged you the video on Mines. Sorry I didn't see it. I'm trying to get off of Mines. Yeah, that's another thing he said, is that we are now in a civil war. I mean, that's the thing. The guy is he's inciting violence. He's inciting violence. So people can say fucking whatever about, like, oh, it's his free speech. It's like, yeah, free speech, except for the fact that he's actively calling for the genocide of people in the United States. That he says, we're now in a civil war. It needs to happen. You need to kill people. Like, no, I'm sure that's covered by the fucking First Amendment. No, it isn't. This guy should be fucking investigated. You know, go listen to I'll link it. Go listen to the fucking rant. Go listen to it. It's a direct incitement of violence. Someone saying that I deserve more subs. Thank you. Be sure to... Someone is saying that... Will saying, if you signed it, be sure to click the email link that you get sent. If you don't, it doesn't count. Oh, yeah, it's the verify your account. Yeah. What do you think about Mr. Medicare's digitally assured destruction idea, campaigning for taking down net neutrality rules unless Google stops its BS? I'm not really sure. That would require a whole hell of a lot of organizing in our part for it to not result in the destruction that, you know, that would happen, where it would just be that we would get fucked 2 times. You know, the content sites would get fucked, even though Google would just kind of bypass most of it because they have more money than God, and we get fucked twice. So I'm not really on board with it. It seems to be kind of like a simplistic idea. Like I don't like I'm not trying to like say that I fuck him and that idea and everything else. Like I can understand exactly where he's coming from, but I don't think that it requires us to have a whole hell of a lot of fucking lobbying power that we don't have, period. So unfortunately, it's just not possible. Somebody's sending me a fucking lewd. Somebody sending a fucking picture of that fucking Polish flag with the no Nazis, no communists. Yeah, that's a funny flag. I saw people tweeting that around. Let me get back to the chat. James N asks, what is my issue with libertarians? I've gone through this before. Libertarians are either willfully denying or unconsciously denying anarchists. That's really been the struggle that you've seen with that guy T, who I believe I saw earlier in the stream. It's that once you get down to the base of libertarianism, it is a utopian delusion. No offense. So it doesn't have any kind of practical application to fix much of anything. It doesn't mean that the philosophy behind it isn't worth talking about, but what it means in terms of the practical application to real politics, there's nothing there. And it will not work, and it will not sway people. It is, in my opinion, it's topped out in terms of popularity, and it doesn't really have any kind of practical application to politics, to the government, to anything really outside of individual philosophy. It can work as an individual philosophy for one person. It doesn't work as any kind of politics that can be accepted on a grand scale. So it doesn't have practical application, and it is, by its own admission through what it advocates, utopian. It's not possible without every single fucking person being in society being a libertarian. That's the only fucking way it could conceivably work. And it's not even like not even just saying you're a libertarian, but literally accepting every fucking portion of it. They have to accept it as a worldview before it could even conceivably work. And being that we know that to never be the case, it will never fucking happen, it has no practical application at all. So that's my problem with libertarianism, is that it is anarchism that is cloaked. And again, whether you understand that or not is up to you. But I understand that because I've seen people drill down on it enough to where they just admit, yes, it is anarchism. Yes. Recognition of any state is unacceptable. And I have people posit, limp-wristed fucking nonsense about minarchism or fucking whatever else. But no, I'm sorry, that has nothing, there's no practical application there, because as it relates to libertarianism, the minarchists will always be the cucks. They'll be the cucks. They won't be the true libertarians. The true libertarians will be the anarchists. And once you get there, it has no practical application, so not worth discussing, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of libertarianism. And that doesn't mean that if you are a libertarian that I reject you, because like I said, it's fine for individual philosophy, but in terms of government and governance, it is worthless. Let's see here. What do you make of this? Is by Marauders. What do you make of the people saying that the higher body count from right-wing violence means that there's no leg for the right to stand on against Antifa? Well, that's the problem. People want to say whatever about PR. That's the problem with the actual fucking white supremacists. That's the problem with the people that show up and actually do engage in violence, because there were far-right people in Charlottesville that did engage in violence. The only way that you are going to actually be able to work this is if you make this about very clearly defined things. And it has to be around something that is either socially acceptable already or something that you can very easily argue. If you want to talk about nationalism, you have to say civic nationalism. You have to talk about values, about the identity of being an American rather than white. You have to fucking define what you mean, and you cannot be violent. And all the iconography, all of it, the only thing you can get away with is Trump hats and American flags. You show up there with Confederate flags, you show up there with white supremacist flags, you show up there with Nazi flags, you show up there with anything other than something that can be clearly defined as American, you are doing yourself your own disservice. So when you get oppressed and you're sitting there go, oh, Louis, this is terrible. No, you're the one making the mistake. You have to outplay the opposition. The only way you're going to be able to do that is with the ability to make your case. If you're out there zig-eiling, doing the Roman salute, carrying a Nazi flag, you've already lost. You make it impossible to defend you. You make it impossible for anyone to agree with you. And if no one can support you, no one can agree with you, no one can even defend you when you're being oppressed, that's on you. So that's when I say about cutting off the fucking alt-right. Yes, leave them out of it. They are not helping you. You are making the case for yourselves to be oppressed. So if you are a conservative, any stripe of conservative, you need to be distancing yourself from the far right, from the white nationalists right now as hard as you can. That's the only way you're going to be able to rebound from this, because you have the whole of fucking, bourgeois California and every member of the press going after you right now and saying, literally, the guy that runs the Daily Coast saying all conservatives are Nazis. That's his guiding principle. That's what he said publicly. That's now on you to try to reshape. No matter what you do, they are going to lie. But you have to fucking not give them all the ammunition in the world to use against you. So every time you show up there carrying a Nazi flag, doing a Roman salute, saying any kind of dumb shit that is very much akin to Nazis or neo-Nazis or white supremacists, you automatically lose. And that's your decision. That's your decision to make. If you want to win the fight or you want to lose the fight, just give up, be run over, be ostracized and fucking oppressed by progressives in every way possible, economically, socially, every way possible. If that's what you want to have happen to you, continue to do what you're doing. Otherwise, you need to cut those people loose, disown them, and be done with it. You know, it was stupid enough for the alt-right and the people like Steve Bannon and everyone else that was involved in cozying up to elements of the alt-right. That was a mistake on their part. That was a massive mistake. Obviously, the press is going to lie, but you don't give them ammunition. You know, it would be like if you had, during Gamergate, okay, you had a guy show up at a convention that goes up, smacks every woman panelist in the face and says, I hate women, hell Hitler, whatever else. Okay, that guy is not helping Gamergate. That guy is not doing, and if that happened, that guy should be ostracized. That guy should be disowned. That guy should be thrown under the bus in every conceivable way. Because the movement, the ability to try to win back political power in this instance where you have a political opposition that is aggressive and hostile towards you, the ability to win that cultural battle, however you want to phrase it, it's more important to win than it is to defend one guy who's a fucking piece of shit, who's making everyone look bad and is giving ammunition to the opposition. That is what the alt-right is. They're fucking losers. They're fucking parasites. And they can't stand on their own 2 feet. That's why they're trying to glom onto you. And for whatever reason, you're fine with them being there. Get rid of them. Disown them. Be completely done with them. And until that happens, you're going to have people using those people as examples of you, of every conservative. So, you know, I saw Ben Shapiro ranting about this issue. And I agree with him. I think that it's a big mistake. That even I have to say that, you know, I don't like political violence being done by white supremacists. You know, I'm going to show you in the video, and it's going to be sympathetic towards the people that were at the rally getting punched in the fucking face and all that other shit. But it's like, listen, you are utterly repugnant the way that you are. I don't want you being attacked. I don't want you being oppressed. But in part, it's because of you. You're so fucking repugnant. Stop being that way. Unless you want to be oppressed. So, we'll move on. Let's see here. Someone saying is Baked Alaska alt-right. That's the feeling that I got too, being that he doesn't recognize citizenship. That's pretty fucking alt-right. Nate, I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know who people are talking about, and people linking names I've never heard of. Yeah, I've had people said this, and I saw one of the reasons why Gavin McInnes says that he doesn't associate with the alt-right is that he believes some of them, genuinely believes that some of them are FBI agents. And I don't find that to be that far-fetched, because the FBI definitely do infiltrate movements like that. They definitely do that. They infiltrated the Bundy family or whatever, that whole faction. They legitimately infiltrated them and then busted them all. So if you don't think that some of those fucking retards showing up at those rallies are fucking FBI, you're nuts. There are definitely some agents among those guys. And that's another thing, is like, why, like, again, you're setting up your own oppression. You're literally potentially collaborating with fucking FBI agents that are looking to fuck you. So yeah, it's just funny. Go watch a Gavin McInnes video on it. He's talked about it more than once. It's a bad idea to mix with them. But yeah, people. Yeah, I guess I don't really need to talk about fucking talk about Antifa. I don't really want to talk all that much about Antifa. Well, I don't like Antifa. Definitely has been infiltrated, definitely. But the thing is just that I think there's like way too much political. Like, I never even thought this, but like there obviously has to be fucking some level of institutional support for Antifa. There has to be. There just has to be. It doesn't make any sense to me that you have this group that's well known for burning shit and looting stores and doing all sorts of shit, and then you have clear stand-down orders given to the police. There has to be sympathy there for them. It makes no sense otherwise. Yeah, and there's a lot of fucking people out there just basically. And the other thing is too is it's hard to tell sometimes to distinguish because there are people out there that are just using Antifa as the I forget what it's called, like the sharp edge of the hammer or the blunt edge of the hammer, however it's said, where basically you're using them as the tool to enforce what you politically believe. They're basically the shock troops for your ideology, and that you're using them for political convenience. There seems to be a fucking lot of that right now. Like I saw a lot of fucking people, especially right after Charlottesville, saying that there was no other side, just dressing up the crowd that was there as just purely innocent anti-racist protesters. And it's like, no, like there were leftist journalists on the ground flat out saying and pointing to that there were Antifa members at that rally. There was one leftist journalist that recorded the car crash that when that fucking white supremacist guy drove into that crowd. The guy right before it happened said, there's Antifa members in this crowd. So Antifa were there. There's no denying it. From the horse's mouth, from people on the ground, from leftist partisans, there were Antifa there. So there were two sides. And there were Antifa there engaging in violence. Multiple reports of that happening. Punching out random fucking people, attacking journalists. It happened. And yet you wouldn't think that'd be the case with all the fucking establishment people. Republican and Democrat pretending as though nothing went on. There was nobody there but just fucking, 80-year-old fucking civil rights activists and shit. Like that was the only fucking people there, and it's bullshit. Oh, okay. So when people are saying that the petition just passed 100,000, and that's good. Like I said, it's important that this gets done. That we have to do something. Okay. If we're just gonna sit here behind a fucking screen, we have to do something to try to combat this. And forcing the institutions to engage with us, forcing them to engage with the issue of Antifa, forces the issue. Because I think that the far right, the far right, have no case if Antifa doesn't show, and if no one shows up there and beats them up. In my opinion, if that happens, that when they show up and beat people up, that's when I have to make a video, which I plan to do. I have to work on the script. That's when I have to do a video talking about it and basically showing, a sympathetic view towards them, because it's like one of the examples I give in the video is a very powerful example where you have a guy who is very much appears to be a white nationalist talking to the press, basically saying, I disagree with all forms of political violence, blah, 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 and then a fucking communist runs up and punches him in the face. That forces me to take the side of the guy that's decrying political violence, even if he is a fucking white supremacist. Like, I don't know what you want me to do in this scenario. You are, in every way imaginable, every way measurable, you are worse than him. He is standing there saying into a microphone to the press, to the public, I am opposed to political violence. We should not be engaged in political violence. And then a communist runs up and hits him in the face. The communists are worse. The communists are the aggressors. The communists are the violent ones. And the communists need to have a Rodney King moment. That's what needs to happen. You need to have one instance where the police make examples of Antifa, where they just rush in to the black bloc and beat every single fucking person there. That needs to happen. You need to incentivize or disincentivize Antifa from showing up. When they engage in violence, when they engage in property damage, when they engage in intimidation, when they engage in all the things that they have been doing, have the police rush in and fucking kick their asses. They have all the riot gear in the world, but they can never just throw a punch, throw one baton swing. They can never do anything. The cops have been cucked, whether it's because it's the cops or more likely because it's the politicians cucking them. But you need to have the police come out fucking swinging. They need to crack down on Antifa. Because when that happens, then if white supremacists show up and nothing happens, they go home and people go, well, they're full of shit and their ideology's fucking bullshit. And that's the end of the conversation. That's as far as it needs to go. You know, if we wanted to discuss esoteric white supremacist rhetoric and shit, it could be here on YouTube. It could just be esoteric fucking mental masturbation. But when they show up and you fucking beat the shit out of them and go on a fucking week-long campaign to oppress them by trying to destroy their lives, destroy their reputations, destroy their careers, destroy their families, destroy everything, death threat them until they have to leave their home, you know, that is you being phenomenally worse than them. Phenomenally worse. They believe awful shit, but you're the one engaging in awful illegal behavior. And that can't be tolerated for a single second. So thanks to you that signed that petition. But you know, it's very important that we go after Antifa right now and their enablers right now. People like that fucking cocksucker at Rick and Morty, that guy needs to be taken down. That guy needs to be gone after. Because he is the guy, he's the bourgeois cocksucker standing on a stage screaming at the top of his lungs that people need to die. Literally, that is what he said. So fuck him. He needs to be hounded until he apologizes and backs down, or is just run out of town. Because if not, the fucking violence is going to get worse. Okay? It went from punch a Nazi to all conservatives to all Nazis need to die. You know, how much more inflammatory and, you know, how much more closer to incitement does this need to be? Does this guy need to get on a stage, scream at the top of his lungs that he himself is going to find Richard Spencer and fucking murder him? Does it need to reach that point before finally a cop can show up and go, maybe that's incitement? Before a DA can charge somebody with fucking anything? Does it need to happen where the guy actually goes out and fucking kills somebody before some charges are actually brought? It's fucking ridiculous. The guy's calling for the deaths of thousands of people and everyone. No, there's no articles. There's no articles on it. The guy's calling for a genocide. No articles. Fucking ridiculous. The Lizard Viking says, hypothetical situation, job is you spying on a hot Asian chick. During job, she notices you and invites you into bedroom on condition that you lie to boss about your findings. Betray boss for tight Asian pussy, yes or no? I'm probably going to have to go with a no there. I won't date a criminal, especially one that's trying to manipulate me. What I would do is I'd try to get her on tape, trying to talk about how she's committing fraud. And then turn that over to my company. And instead of getting fucked by me, she can get fucked by justice. Apparently, Raging Golden Eagle, who's another YouTuber, is apparently saying that Harmon was drunk when he did the rant. Oh no, he wasn't drunk because he's been continuing on Twitter. So apparently, yeah, and this is what I mean. Like again, I am a small fucking person. If I had a couple 100,000 followers and I had some real fucking power in our quote unquote community, I would be passing this around. And I passed this to Sargon. I passed it to Sargon directly. I didn't say anything about any kind of boycott or whatever, but I think this needs to be talked about. I think that should be in This Week in Stupid. I told them as much. This needs to be brought to light. There should be articles written about this guy. This should be a big deal. This guy is he's a big name for a popular show. He's on a stage being filmed, and he's in front of a microphone screaming at the top of his lungs that people need to die. This should be covered. How drunk am I? I'm probably not that drunk. I've only had one of these. This is my first fucking vodka orange juice. It's a big glass. It's like a beer glass, but I'm only about halfway through it. The most I've had of these was that one burned. Was about 3, and I started getting kind of tipsy, so I had to stop. I was like, I legit like I was playing something. I don't know if it was Grand Theft Auto or before I uninstalled Warhammer, but I was playing something, and I was like 3 down of those. And I like stood up, and I was like, whoa. I was having trouble standing, and I was like, okay, I need to stop. Oh, man. What are people saying F for? What are people saying? I don't know. I don't know what you guys are saying F for. Sorry, I didn't see it. All right, fucking against the fucking Nintendo said blah blah blah. I sent you some fucking bullshit on mines. All right, finally, or fucking whatever, bro. Let me look. Oh, I had a whole bunch of people subscribe to me. That's too bad. I'm gonna have to make a video on mines, basically, when I get off of it, telling people like, hey, like I'm getting off of this service. I know people like to say that they want to like mines. I don't like it. I don't like it. All right, I don't fucking see anything that you sent me, bro. Is it in the messenger? I don't see shit. Okay, here we go. I had a dream where, okay, so this is from Nintendo Freak 768. God damn it. He says, I had a tire where I bought a new truck. When I was going to school, the steering wheel wouldn't turn. I ended up missing my turn to go into school and ended up continuing on the road. At the end of the bridge, there was a ramp. I took the jump and crash landed the truck. Somehow I ended up outside the truck just fine. I walked over to the truck and found that it was made of cardboard. When I went to check the make of the truck, it was made by Parler. Very amusing. Yeah. Apparently somebody sent me like a fucking essay of a message on here as well. Eventually I'm just going to get off of mine. Sorry to those of you that have recently subscribed to me there, but I'm eventually going to get off of it. So there you go, Nintendo, for your fucking $10 donation. There's your fucking rating of my of your fucking long-winded meandering joke about BioWare. So I still see people saying F. Fuck Google. Check Twitter. Okay. When am I ever going to do a gaming live stream? And it has a fucking anarcho-communist meme in it. I don't fucking know, bro. I don't know. I mean, it's just like I have to upgrade my computer, that's for sure. My internet isn't great, so I'd have an issue with frames. I've tried it before. I know people want me to do it, and there's a particular game that people really, really want me to play again. Apparently, Sony got hacked again. But yeah, I know that people want it to happen. But the thing is, right, especially now that, yeah, someone said get Civ 6. Yeah, I had Sargon and someone else approached me to get that. Fuck that. I'm not getting it. Fuck off of that boring-ass game. I'm not going to stream Mass Effect. Okay, the only way that I would stream Mass Effect Andromeda or Dragon Age or anything else is if you fucking people paid me. I have a minimal amount that I would have to be paid to play those fucking games again. So if you aren't going to pay me, then fuck you. Simple as that. I'm not playing that garbage again, all right? Oh, man. I just fucking read your goddamn dream, you fucking spastic. Keep up with the stream. Will says on Super Chat, he doesn't get is that his show may get him labeled a Nazi, similar jokes to what PewDiePie used to do. Even last week episode, very disappointing. I'm not really sure who do you mean, Will? Don't say in a Super Chat. Who are you talking about? Fucking at me, Will. Who are you talking about? Fucking Marauder says, hey, Lewis, I want you to just walk up to Boogie with your phone out and just press the play button on your rant and stare at him. Oh, that'd be funny. I don't know. I don't want to be that mean to him, bro. Holy shit. I had a lot of people fucking... Okay, you're talking about Dan Harmon there, Will? So let me read your thing back. He doesn't get is that his show might get him labeled a Nazi. Similar jokes to what PewDiePie used to do. Even last week's episode, very disappointing. Yeah, well, that's the thing is that, like, you know, today's fucking guy screaming at the top of his lung, everyone's a Nazi but him, is tomorrow's Nazi. I mean, that's the problem these people have, is that they don't understand how fast. I mean, look at Joss Whedon. I mean, that's probably the thing, right? That's probably the thing. This guy's probably covering for something. This guy's fucking... are you going to watch the partial eclipse in Buffalo? Fucking no. I don't give a fucking shit about any eclipse. I don't give a shit. There's politics happening, all right? There's fucking Asian lewds on my Twitter. I don't give a fucking shit about any eclipse. It happens every 40 fucking years. Well, I'll catch it when I'm fucking 60 whatever the fuck, okay? When I'm 70 fucking years old, I'll watch it then. I don't give a fuck. All right. What are your thoughts? This is said by Emmanuel. What are your thoughts on those who say that whites will become a minority by 2040 to 2060 if this leads to more white radicals? What is the hope for the left, moderates, and traditional right? So I can't speak to the later end of that fucking question because, I mean, who fucking knows where politics is going at this point? It's like a roller coaster that we're on another pass and we know the track is out, and it's just like, well, we're fucking going somewhere. It could be on the same track, but maybe not. But to the first part of that question, I genuinely do not have a problem with, and I'm pretty sure most of you will know this by now, that I do not have a problem with whites becoming a minority in the United States. However, I preface that with the idea that I am not in favor of any ideology that is genuinely calling for whites to be a minority because fuck white people or fuck the West or fuck individualism or fuck the Constitution or fuck anything else. Fuck the Founding Fathers, anything else. I do not support that ideology, and I don't care whether it's some cocksucker social justice warrior on the ground or whether it is the vice president in the United States. I am not in favor of any fucking insane identitarian ideology that's calling for the end, quote unquote, of white people. I am not in favor of that. I have I used to call, to some degree, obviously tongue-in-cheek, for white genocide with, having sex with Asians, and obviously having children as a result of that. But even now, I'll just, I went from there to say that we should have a racial merger as the joke, just because I think that it's, even though I make it as a joke, that it really is something. I mean, there are a lot of people that genuinely think that it's a good thing to see whites become a minority. And it begs the question, like, why do you favor that? Because, like, if someone said, yeah, by the way, by 2060, whites are going to be a minority, my answer is, oh, well, that's interesting. I mean, maybe that's a good thing. We could live in a very, multiracial society, but we don't really distinguish one another by race. From an egalitarian point of view, that could be a good thing. But the fact is that the only way that is a good thing, that we, by 2060, whites are minority, is if we have finally gotten past the issue of race. And we obviously haven't in this country. We obviously have not gotten past the issue of race. And while there are some issues that are legitimate to discuss as it relates to race, I think that, unfortunately, because of the fucking attitudes of, I don't even know how to put it, just racial identitarian extremists that want to blame whites for every fucking ill thing ever in the history of the world, that because of them, that this issue hasn't gone away. If it were just the white supremacists and the white nationalists out there talking about this shit, I think the issue of race would already be done with. I think when people come out there and say, oh, I'm a white nationalist, or I believe in a white identity, they'd be laughed out of the room, they'd be mocked, they'd be derided, and I'd be completely fucking fine with that. But the issue is that you have this fucking bulwark of people that are insane identitarians that, if they had the power, would oppress white people. Not because they did anything to them, but because they are racist. They are racial identitarians. They believe that whites are the bourgeoisie and they are the proletariat. So you have to oppress whites by their worldview. And if they had the power, like I said, they do it. So it's a very big issue now. And I have to say that, in my opinion, the best thing that can happen is for egalitarianism to win, to individualism to win, for identitarianism to go away permanently, forever and always, for collectivism to lose, and for the black identitarians and all the other identitarians to be stamped out. Just to where it becomes permanently socially unacceptable to say, I am proud of my skin color. My skin color defines me. You should be defined by your skin color, blah, 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 blah. That should be eradicated as something that it should become a social taboo. It should become a major social taboo in our society and in every fucking society. Once that happens, society will be better off. The only distinguishing people will make about race will be maybe aesthetics and maybe health. Black men have a higher percentage chance of getting cholesterol issues or heart issues or whatever fucking else. That would be the concern. But outside of that, if it were to just go away permanently, we would live in a better society. And what it requires, and people who say that, oh, whites are under attack, blah, 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 it's like, okay, you're not hearing me say that I'm just dismissing you, but I am saying that we need to get rid of the fucking identitarians that are anti-white. Clearly, through their own fucking bullshit, they are anti-white. And once they go, the white identitarians go next. They're next. So that's the order. All the fucking retard supremacists that exist now, and then the white supremacists later. But I still encourage everyone to fucking... I still encourage Asian mass immigration. People can say whatever in the chat. I still encourage fucking... because the thing is, people are saying, well, what about the Asians are really collectivists? It's like, yeah, but look what we're doing to Japan. Japan is becoming an increasingly individualistic nation. There's been Pew Research on it, and it is a fact that Japan right now is more individualistic than it has ever been. Okay? And we are contributing heavily to that. The West is doing that to the East. We are making the East more individualistic. And so my answer is to bring those people here and to make them even more individualistic. That is the point of the racial merger. The racial merger should be an inevitability, and the end result should be, I don't want to say hyper-individualism because that can be wrong too, but I guess tongue-in-cheek hyper-individualism. There you go. I'm not saying that the East isn't fucking super collectivist in comparison to us, but we are. Just look at the research. Go look at the research. It's on Pew. Like, if you want to talk about super uber collectivist outside of like communist China, South Korea. South Korea is like uber fucking collectivist, and they don't even have like the totalitarian communism affecting them. South Korea is super collectivist, but Japan is becoming more individualistic. And so the answer is to make is to have some kind of racial merger with South Koreans and force them. That needs to be our mission. America's mission, the West's mission, is to reform the East and turn them into individualistic nationalist nations. Or sorry, yeah, well, individualistic nationalist nations. I think that can stand because I like people want to get on my case about nationalism, but I don't think it's mutually exclusive to consider yourself to be nationalistic and also individualistic. Like if you want to put it as a binary, as I am a nationalist or I am an individualist, if you want to put it on that binary, it is a binary. But if you want to say I am individualistic and nationalistic, that is not mutually exclusive. So yes, as Subject to Change says in the chat, everyone sink your dick into an Asian. That is correct. Subject to Change has it correct. And that I am going to reform neoconservatism. I want to make it clear right now, as everyone listens to this, we are reforming neoconservatism, and the target is going to be East Asia. And instead of dropping bombs, we're going to drop white men, and they are going to fuck Asian women with consent. Marina Shut Up or Roaming Millennial. And that's by Humongous for Senate, who I recognize. Thanks for rejoining the fucking stream, Millennial. The vodka is starting to get to me. I can feel it. I'm going to bring. I'm pretty sure the answer is going to be Millennial. Even though I think she's like alt-right, closer to alt-right. I don't think that Marina Shut Up is ugly necessarily. But I will have to go for Roaming Millennial. Roaming Millennial is significantly more attractive in my opinion. I think she's like a hafu, as people would say. And again, I just want you to say that she's an example. Okay, she is a case study for what could occur, especially if you're on the right. There you go. There you go. There's your case example for why I'm right. So what? People, Floink says in the chat, Asian chicks got no ass, though. That's not necessarily true. I've tweeted out some images that say that's incorrect. And in my opinion, it's not necessary. If you follow me, you know I don't care. Tara McCarthy, a roaming millennial? Tara McCarthy is plain as shit, and she's also a fucking retard. I don't follow her channel, so don't give me too much shit about not Tara McCarthy, fuck her, but roaming millennial. I don't really know much about her. I do know she's right wing though. Snake56 says that I tweet way too many flat Asian girls. Yeah, I do. You want to see something else? Go to another fucking, unfollow me, bro. Block me, bro. Go to some other fucking, follow somebody else, bro. That's what I tweet. It's not all fucking small-chested Asian girls, but those are the ones that I tweet. So just get used to it. Small-chested Asians need representation. and I'm giving it to him. All right, it's important. Representation is important, and I'm giving it to him. I mean, you have to say, like, even if you are somebody that isn't that into like small chests or whatever, you have to admit that some of the fucking girls that I tweet out are fucking banging, bro. Okay, some of the girls that I tweet out are fucking banging. The one girl that I tweeted out the other day who didn't really have that much of an ass, who this guy here who's like, oh man, she doesn't do squats, she doesn't have a massive, disgusting, disproportional ass. It's like, okay, yeah, she's still a 9 out of 10, unless you, I mean, like, whatever, I'm not even getting into it. It's like, if you want to see somebody with a big ass or whatever, big, thick ass, why don't you go fuck a dude, bro? Why don't you go fuck a dude? You just care so much about, oh, she's big and strong and has big muscles and has a big ass. It's like, yeah, go fuck a dude then, bro. Like, I like to actually look at women. I don't know if that just makes me the exception, that I like to look at women and not women that could pass as fucking men. Like, I know archive. Is one of the problems with the drinks that I make is that the closer you get to the bottom of the glass, the stronger it is. Because I put the fucking vodka in first. Unknown Archive says $20 for $20. Louis Le Vau. I assume that's a Pepe Le Pew reference. I'm not really sure what the reference would be. Flat as justice. That is correct. And that's the thing too. People always say to me like, "Oh, Louis, don't tweet out whatever," because flat-chested women, they look like fucking traps or whatever. It's like, yeah, it says the people looking at women that are as muscular as men, that are more muscular than me. You're wanting to insinuate that I'm the fag. No, you're the fag. Okay, let's be clear about this now. If you like to fuck or dream of fucking women that could conceivably pass as fucking tranny men, you are the fag, not me. So there you go. We're putting it that fucking bluntly. And maybe that's fucking talking. Oh man. Oh, fucking Murrader says Latinas are greater than Asians, hips and ass. Fuck out of here, bro. Fuck out of here. I'm gonna quote his name. And I'm gonna do a straight call to bullying in this chat. I'm gonna tweet his name. I'm gonna say have everyone call that guy a faggot. So I'm gonna put here, Marauders is a faggot. There you go. There you go, bro. You're gonna get the attention you wanted now. I already talked about Joss Whedon. You're gonna have to roll back for that. Yeah, that is true. Okay, I won't say that about. I won't badmouth Latino women or Latinas, but you can have fun with that shit. press F for fag. Oh man. Exactly. Somebody just said the age of consent in Mexico is 12. So are you a pedophile? Is that what you're saying, bro? You're not only a faggot, but you're a pedophile. That's what I say. Press F for faggot pedophile. You know, you don't get to press F, Marauders. Did you just push F? Okay, you did. Good. Don't push F, Marauders. You're getting banned out of this chat. And I mean that. I mean that. You're going to get banned from this fucking chat if you say jack shit about F. Aging consent in Japan is not 13, by the way. That is false. That is fake news. Louis, humble degenerate says, Louis, I got some pussy. Are you proud of me? Well, the question is, humble degenerate, what kind of pussy did you get? Oh Jesus, we're gonna have to end this stream soon. I put too much vodka in this one. A little bit too much vodka. Oh man. Nate says that Asian girls moan weird. That's only the bona fide Asians. And that's only also probably in porn. Keenroth says that he is part South Korean, part Japanese. You are special, sir. Do you have a sister? That's my real question for you, bro. Did you say, bro, what kind of pussy did you get? You got Asian pussy. Congratulations. I want everyone to I don't know what would be let me press T for humble getting tight Asian pussy. There you go. So press T for fucking humble for getting for bragging about his tight Asian pussy that he got. Oh, Keenroth, fuck your sister then. She's gonna marry some fucking degenerate Chinese man. Fuck him. Fuck that Chinaman. Okay, I'm saying that right now. Fuck that Chinaman. Okay, so let's go. Let's get into the lightning round. I gotta close this out. I'm gonna get another one of these. I'm gonna drink another one of these, but that might be about it because I put a little too much in this one. All right. Let's the problem is I have to go upstairs. I have to walk upstairs to get orange juice. I got the liquor right here, but I need some orange juice. I can't just drink the vodka straight. Too strong. Okay, let's get lightning round. Let's get to the lightning round. Let's get some fucking final questions. I was actually planning on working on a video today, but that's apparently not going to happen. Oh, man. Any thoughts on the media dogpiling on the ACLU for Charlottesville? I mean, that's no surprise there. And I've already sent out a tweet on that the ACLU dug their own grave. You know, it's the road they chose to take, and they deserved all the fucking shit they get for it. So I don't really care about the shit they get. I mean, I'm glad that this is one of the rare times at this point they're taking a principled stand. Good for them. I agree with the principled stand. I agree with them defending Milo. I like that they defended Milo. And I just watched an interview with Milo where he talked about that fact, and he said he appreciated them defending him. So thank you for the ACLU for defending Milo and his free speech, and for them to take a principled stand this time. But so long as they fucking agree with and defend and pursue collective rights, they will always be my enemy. That's my opinion of them. Why are you into 3D? Don't you know 3D Pigu, whatever the fuck is that the guy saying that's Nintendo? I think that there is an oversaturation of 2D fucking manlet basement dwelling faggots who can't get laid, so they say 2D. Fuck 2D, 3D all the way. If I ever do this mainstream, I'm going to make this a fucking life coach channel where instead of giving you dog shit advice like Boogie does, I'm going to give you fucking, I'm going to give you actual workable PUA pickup art, fucking shit for Asian women so you can get laid with 3D Asians. Fuck 2D. Let's see here. Let me scroll down. Fucking chat's screwing up. I can't see it. Thoughts on people claiming that this is from Chelsea Valkenberger. Thoughts on people claiming that fire.org is controlled opposition. I have no idea about any of that. Would you hate fucking Anita Sarkeesian? Be honest. I think not. Oh, excuse me. I think that she's like, when she's thin, she's reasonably attractive. But probably not. I don't think if she hit on me, like let's say that she dropped the whole fucking charlatan actor, like her whole shit. If she dropped all of that and was like, "Yo, I want to fuck you," I'd probably be like, "Nah, it's all right. I'll remain a monk." If she was flat out willing to fucking have sex with me, I'd probably just say no. And that's honest. Like, I'm not bullshitting you. I'm just saying, like, I'm pretty goddamn particular about that kind of thing. Like, especially nowadays, like you're crazy if you're a dude and you just want to jump into bed with a random woman. You're nuts. You're fucking crazy if you do that. Yeah, I know. I'm 5'10". I'm still calling other people fucking manlets. You can't stop me. You can't fucking stop me. Anna Kasparian is also a no. Anna Kasparian gets a firm no from me. She's had more fucking work done than a fucking burn victim. I think she got fucking breast implants or whatever. Because somebody showed me like an old photo of her, and she had like super small breasts, and they showed me a new photo of her. I'm like, did she get a fucking boob job? Are you kidding me? Like, I thought all she got was like rhinoplasty and something else, but apparently she's had a shitload of work done. So she's not passing my smell test. No thanks. Louis would fuck her if she's Asian, probably. I mean, I reserve myself to not fuck any fucking Asian women that aren't politically crazy. I don't really need to get in bed with fucking lunatic women that'll betray me. You're not even 6 foot. Are you even trying, Lewis? I can't help what height I am. All right. I know I need to be in better shape, but I can't help but be the height that I am. There's nothing I can do about that. There are a ton of men out there that are super short. Tommy Robinson, who's like a fucking scrapper, whatever else, is actually really short. He's like 5'4" or 5'6", something like that. And I don't like. Are you gonna walk up to Tommy Robinson and call him a fucking pussy to his face? I don't think so. You're gonna get your fucking ass kicked. So you can be the biggest lanky faggot in the world all you want. Like, if you can't hold your own, it doesn't mean shit. Height doesn't mean shit if you're just a big lanky pussy. I think height's overrated, except with obviously super short men. I've seen a lot of tall men that are like goofy as fuck, and it's like, well, I'm glad I'm not that lanky fucking goofy motherfucker. I'm goofy, but it's because I'm Irish, and it's also because of a bit of my personality. Chelsea says, does Shu have nice boobs for someone with implants, or is it too obvious? Shu has implants? I don't know that that's true. I thought she's pretty small chested. I've never heard of her having implants. I don't know anything about that. I think she was cute. But she has a fucking, Armored Skeptic as a boyfriend. And she's also kind of sexually weird. I've seen her tweet because I follow her. She's tweeted a lot of weird shit about her sexuality. And I gotta say that I'm not really into too much like weird shit sexually. I'm really not. Although people can obviously meme about that, I'm really not. So when it comes to women that are too like overtly talkative about their sexuality, like I'm just not into that. I'm not into that kind of thing. But nothing against her. It's her free speech. She can do what she wants. You must hate it when women ask how tall you are. Not really. I definitely don't think that I'm short. So I've never felt insecure about my height. So I really think you're jumping the gun on that. Do you think Shuan had got her fame only because of Skeptid, or is it legit? I would actually turn that around. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people that like Shu because she is a girl, and also because she talks about the issues that she talks about. But I would also say that Shu has a certain spark to her humor that I think that is probably the big reason why she has her popularity. Armored Skeptic, I would say that I'm pretty sure she's bigger than him. I'm pretty sure of that. I'm pretty sure one of the things that keeps Skeptic going is his connection to Shu, to be honest, because I don't find Armored Skeptic to be that convincing of really anything. Like, I don't think he's necessarily like an idiot or whatever else. Like, I'm not going to insult him, but I don't really find him to be very persuasive. Not necessarily Shu either, but I do find Shu to be generally entertaining. And I think that's fine. I think that's my channel in a nutshell. Is just, I mean, I'm not really sure how many fucking people find me convincing, but I'm at least entertaining. You know, I have that going for me to whatever degree. Skeptic has bigger tits than Shu. Yeah, well, I can't really talk too much shit because I'm not in terrible shape, but I'm definitely not in good shape anymore. I really gotta. I've been going for like extra long jogs, and I've started to lift some weights again because I gotta turn things around. I'm turning into fucking well, I don't know how big Black Guy is, that Black Guy, but I definitely don't want to join that league of being totally out of shape. Like, I'm not there yet, but I'm definitely headed in that direction. So I've been definitely turning it around and going for longer jogs than that. I'm not even sure what's doing it. I'm not even sure why. Like, I've gained like I've probably gained like 20 pounds for where I was a couple years ago. And I definitely don't like it. I really don't like being out of shape. It really doesn't sit well with me. But I'm also like, I don't know if it's like a laziness factor or what, but like I just have a hard time getting back into shape. I have to basically work out all the fucking time to stay in shape. I'm not sure why that is. You didn't send me nudes. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off, fucking gnome. Weak ass shit. You're tweeting shit that I've seen on feeds way before you did, bro. All right. I am like, when it relates to Asian nudes, I am the hipster here. I'm the proto hipster. So you're not going to one-up me on fucking anything. Do I look like Boogie? Dude, I weigh like 160 pounds. Okay? Or 100, probably like closer to 165. So my issue is that I need to bulk up. I definitely need to do that. And I need to lose like probably like 20 pounds. Probably like right around 20 pounds. If I lost 20 pounds, I'd be in good shape. Do you, and this is by Chase Face, do you ever look at idols on Sankaku? I'm not sure what that is, or where do you even get your Asian loots? I get all my Asian loots from Twitter. I follow like fucking 5 accounts at this point. I think all of them are Japanese. And all they do all day long is spit out fucking images of Asian women in lingerie shoots. And then some, like a mix between porn and more artistic nudity. The closer it gets to artistic nudity is usually what I tweet out. There are some straight up pornographic images. I'm not going to tweet those out, and I usually don't like those images. I don't want to see. If I'm going to look at porn, I'll look at porn. I like artistic nudes and the laundry shoots. Those I like tweeting out because they're more artistic. And I think that it's always better to have a little bit of play with the imagination, a little bit more discretion than it would be to just put it all out there. You know, like one of the things I don't like are the chicks that are laying down or seated in a seating position, like with their legs spread and they're opening their pussy. It's like, I don't like that. Like, that's just too pornographic. You know, like it's just not something that I can share with people In my opinion, it's something that is a lot more. It's a lot more suggestive than it is overt. Mizor, who I saw on Twitter earlier, says, "Do you ever watch Yoi? I believe it's pronounced, or just Yuri?" I just watch. I don't watch shit at this point. It's been a few years, but my strong preference is towards Yuri. I haven't watched anything Yoi, and I think I'm trying to remember. There was a show that was Boys Love. It was called, like, I think it was Yuri on Ice, and I fucking hate that show because every time you look up Yuri, that fucking show comes up. So fuck that show. They shouldn't have called it that. When I will look up Yuri, I want to see fucking lesbianism. I don't want to see fucking garbage boys love show. So fuck that show. Yaoi? Yaoi? Okay. Yaoi. That's what it is. Yaoi. That's how you say it. Thank you, Nuru15. Thank you for that reminder. All right, let's get to the final two questions. We need to close this out. I need to get another fucking drink and do, I don't know, do something. I'm probably not going to do any work tonight, unfortunately, because that just usually doesn't happen when I start drinking. I know what Boku no, to Nate, and this is not going to count, but I know what Boku no Pico is, and I am not really interested in that. So yeah, last two. I already said how much I weighed. Shut up. Last two questions, and then we'll close this out. So let's get some fucking spitfire fucking serious questions in here. Fuck out of here, Gnome, with your garbage cosplay swimsuit garbage. Fuck off. Get out of here with that shit. All right, two questions. Let's go. Let's get them. Come on. Let's close this out. Let's end this stream. Let's end this. Get him out. Let's go. Oh. Fuck off, Gnome, bro. You're sending me garbage. Do you read manga? Yeah, manhua or manhua? I'm not sure what the fuck you mean by those other two, but manga. I think I saved a manga that was a Yuri manga on my wish list on Amazon, but that's about as close as I've gotten to manga. I actually own some manga based on I used to get Anime Crate from Loot Crate. I did that for a few months. That was a mistake. That was a waste of money. I have manga. I just never read it. I've already talked to Graham. You have to roll back. I've already talked about Mr. Mediker's digital issue destruction idea earlier in the stream. I don't agree with it. Manhwa apparently is Korean manga. No, I don't watch. I don't. If it's something is from Korea, I have no idea. Outside of, I don't even know if like I could even tell the difference. I don't even know if I could. The most I play is visual novels, bro, and they're all translated. Lewis and his bourgeois flat-chested women. I don't think they're bourgeois necessarily. I just don't object to flat-chested women. I would say that I'm not really. I wouldn't say necessarily like it's my fetish because the women that I've dated haven't been necessarily flat-chested, so I don't think that it's necessarily like a fetish of mine. But I just don't object to flat chests. You just have to be thin. Like that's my thing. Like if you're a fucking fat, flat-chested woman, obviously you're unattractive. But if you're thin, in shape, everything else, and you have a flat chest, I'm not necessarily gonna take issue with it. That's my position on it. Thoughts on cosplay? Fuck cosplay. There's a short answer to my opinion on cosplay. Fuck cosplay. Oh God, people asking disgusting questions. Again, okay, so this is gonna count for one of the fucking questions since no one's asking me anything from Mizor. Long hair or short hair? I'm gonna have to go with short hair or long hair rather. Honestly, I think that short hair is kind of, in my opinion, falling out of fashion. I think short hair is become too accustomed to fucking land whale, unattractive, nose pierced fucking dykes. And I see that as somebody that likes Yuri and everything else. They are political lesbians. They are intentionally unattractive. So I think that long hair is the future of women. I think short hair, unfortunately, has been ruined by the fucking progressives. So that is my opinion on thanks for the Charming Man. This is Whitey's Out. I'm not really sure what that's a reference to there, Charming Man. Graham says that I think big tits are overrated. I think so too. I think big tits are honestly kind of gross. Go look at any woman that's over the age of 40 that has big tits, and you tell me that that's fucking attractive, and I'll say that you are the fetishist, not me. Even lose cosplay. Yeah, fuck cosplay. I'm not going to fucking back down from that. Fuck cosplay. I have played more visual novels than you. Someone asked how many visual novels I've played. More than you. I've played a lot of fucking visual novels. Weirdest shit I've ever eaten? I have no idea. Weirdest thing I've ever eaten. It's probably been something I've imported from Japan. I imported a whole shitload through JList. I imported a whole shitload of stuff that was really weird snack foods. Really weird snack foods that I ate. Those are pretty weird. If not something probably like a main course meal that I've had at a restaurant or like some kind of luncheon or something. It's pronounced Ms. or E or not Mizor, you fake weeb. I don't fucking give a shit. I don't fucking care. Say it however the fuck you want to say it. I'll say it however the fuck I want to say it. Who's the motherfucker with a YouTube channel here? If people gave a shit how the fuck I pronounce things, they wouldn't subscribe to me. So I will say the name however the fuck I want to say it. Okay? I am working towards 20K, goddammit, and it ain't gonna make a goddamn difference however I say these names when I reach that point. It might be a slow fucking roll, but it's going. It's happening. I am rolling my way to 20K, and it's not gonna make a goddamn difference. Do I lift? No, I don't, but I really need to. I might have to get a gym membership. I might have to force myself to go to the gym and start lifting weights. I don't like the gym. I really don't. I used to have I had a gym membership twice. I didn't like going to the gym. I can't stand working out in a public environment where I have to be close to people. And the gyms in this immediate area are all fucking jam-packed all the time. And I have to be discriminating in when I can go because of my job. So it's a scheduling issue as well. So if I'm there when everyone's there, it sucks. I fucking hate it. I have a gross story, I guess I can tell, where I'm going on too long here, but I'll say that I was at the gym the last time I had a membership in my local area. And I forget what machine I was working on, but I think I was working on my legs. And I was working on a machine. And a guy basically who was working out on the machine opposite of me, it was like a guy in his 60s. Yeah, he basically had like a sweat rag, and he threw it. He was trying to throw it onto the machine itself, but it went off the machine, and it hit my arm, went up my arm, up my shoulder, and like hit the side of my face. And I like flipped the fuck out on him. And it's like people have to understand that I am a bit neurotic. I am a bit neurotic. So I freaked the fuck out on this guy, and I basically went up to him ready to fight him. Like I was ready to fucking hit him because of what he just did. And like, this is like a guy in his 60s who was like, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. And I was like, I was really, really, really fucking mad that he hit me with his disgusting sweat rag. And that was, I think, one of the last times I went to that gym where I canceled my membership after that. And I said, fuck this, because I just didn't enjoy myself. It's just, I would go to the gym and I would just I would be uncomfortable the minute I stepped in the door until like the second before I left. I was just genuinely uncomfortable there. And I just, and that's the thing, is that like one of those experiences like tainted it's not the only one, but it was one of the grosser ones. And I just, like I said, I had a really negative reaction to that. And after that, I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to work it on my own. I'm going to do it at my own home. I'm just going to do it on my own time. And unfortunately, because I'm not consistent with it, I get out of shape. Because I don't own I own like a dumbbell and the rest. Dumbbell and weights. So I own that and work out with that every once in a while. But it's not enough. You know what I mean? It's not enough. Somebody said something. Snake56 says hairy or bald Asian pussy. Now I'm going to say, and you can see this from what I've tweeted out, I will say with hair. I will say with hair. I won't necessarily say hairy, because I think hairy, when people think hairy, they think like disgusting, just disgusting fucking hairy untrimmed women. I am all in favor of having some hair, pubic hair, but not too much. I think that it's on everyone, including men, to maintain body hair, and it looks better when you do that. So I will say that pubic hair, but not too much. And I'm not too much. I think that's, if people want to say that big tits are overrated, I think that shaved pussy is overrated, in my opinion. Okay, so I guess I'm still going on here. All right, so that's one last question. We're on the final question here. I'm going on way too fucking long here. So, I think you mean, do Asian women or Asian men have body hair? I'm not too sure. I don't know. You have to ask Asian men. I'm Irish, so I have body hair. I got I don't think I'm as hairy as Sean Connery in terms of chest hair. But I do have a fucking Irishman kind of chest hair that has to be somewhat maintained. I have hairy fucking legs and a hairy chest. It's the curse of the Irishman. The Irish genes aren't great. You're Irish, is that why you're an alcoholic? I'm not an alcoholic. Just because multiple members of my family were, doesn't mean anything about me, okay? I think that's a horrible stereotype. All right, let's get some fucking. Let's get the last fucking question here. Let's get the last question. Let's end the stream, okay? Get the last question and let's end this. Hey, at least you're not an Italian, hairy, and greasy. Well, there's that. I am not a greasy person. I am pretty hygienic. So I'm glad for that I'm not greasy. Fuck you. I'm Irish, English, Scottish, and Welsh. I'm a hairy motherfucker. Don't complain. I'm sorry, Charles. I'm sorry you're a hairy motherfucker. I'm hairy is Sean Connery, and I'm not Irish. It's probably because you're Eastern European. Eastern Europeans are hairy as shit. Oh yeah, Sean Connery is Scottish. That's right. Forgot about that. Thank you, Charming. What about my mic? What about my mic? Is there something wrong with the mic? Okay, come on. Can we get a fucking last question here? Can we get a fucking question? Something? At me. Fucking at me and end this. End this fucking stream. I'm waiting on you guys. End the fucking stream. End the fucking stream. Kieran Roth says that I should move to fucking Hawaii. Bro, I live near Toronto. Do you have any fucking idea how many Asians are in Toronto? I'm fine when it comes to Asians. Jesus Christ. Ask the question and the stream. Type it in chat. And this fucking stream. We have Japanese here, Lewis. There's Japanese here, bro. There's Japanese here. There's South Koreans here. There's Japanese here. There's fuckloads of Chinese here. So I'm good on fucking Asians. I'm fine. There are a shitload of fucking Canadian Asians. You fucking... In Hawaii, bro, you probably have bourgeois Asians. You probably have bourgeois Asians. I'm steering clear of them. Okay, so this is going to be the final question. This is going to be the final question. Darius... Oh, fuck. Dies Ari says, will the skeptic community sell out to MTV or no? So there have been some hints dropped about that, about a certain somebody, big name guy, very big name guy, bigger than all the rest as far as I know. There are some big hints dropped about that person and MTV, and I can tell you that there have been talks. There have been legit talks, and I mean this. There have been legit talks between this person and MTV, and there's no promise that it'll happen just yet, based on what I know about the situation. But I can tell you right now that the people out there speculating that certain people might wind up on MTV, you are right. That could happen. That genuinely could happen. So all the people out there saying like, "Oh my God, this person could be on MTV," they're absolutely right, and I fully encourage them to continue that pontificating and all that shit. Continue to do that. You might be completely right. And that's where we'll end this stream. Thanks for stopping out. Be sure to sign the fucking petition that I'm going to put in the description. Be sure to look at my links. Be sure to support me on Patreon, despite Lord and Southern, because it's not terrible at this point, and we might move on to some other point. So do it right now to make me money now. Look at my affiliates. Go there. Buy shit. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for joining the stream. Be sure to listen after. Thumb this fucking video up. Blah, 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 blah. Everything else, I'm going to get myself another drink. Thanks for listening.